watch some TV?
Yeah, I suppose so. Oh, I know the very thing. There's this programme I used to watch when I was really young. You'll love it.
Hello, kids. Welcome to Story Time with Grandpa Joe. I've got a lovely story for you today. It's sister. Oh, you sorry. Just drifted off for a moment there. It's a story about a cowboy, you see. Once upon a time, there was sorry. And he was riding across the plain with the Indian. Oh, hold on a minute. I think I've lost my place. Where are we? Oh, that's right. Once upon a time. Oh dear. Once upon a time, there was a cowboy. A brave cowboy, and he would ride across the plains of America.
Seriously, Dad? He keeps falling asleep.
Oh, well, try this then. It's all the rage with the kids.
Go get it a tussle, come and see Russell at the Brussels Sprouts Show. Hi, I'm Russell. Did you move a muscle? Welcome, Brusselers.
Dad, I'm not watching this. It's ridiculous.
Oh, hang on, I'll find you. Oh, I know. Right, this is really good for you.
So if we take 9 sweeties and add them to our 2 sweeties, we clearly have 11 sweeties. Now, that's too many sweeties to be eating in one sitting, children, isn't it? Now, if we take the example of 2 horses and we add them to a further 1 horse, we then have 3 horses. Maths can be so exciting, can't it, children? I mean, when you take numbers, they are like a joy.
Oh, Dad, forget it. I'm going to my room.
Those really were terrible programs, weren't they? It's often parents that decide what children need, and usually they get it right. But even our parents aren't perfect, and sometimes they do get it wrong, just like in the examples you've just watched. God is fairly clear that we should honour our mother and father though, so certain that he wrote it in one of his laws, which are known as the 10 Commandments, for all his people to follow. So, who does know what we need? Is it teachers, governments, kings or queens? Nope. Some of them know bits about us, but not everything. The only one who knows all that we need and all that we will ever need is God, our Creator. We are all his creations, and children are very important to God. There's an event in the New Testament in Matthew chapter 19 where Jesus was talking to a group of people. Now, some of these people had children with them, and they tried to bring them to Jesus, the Son of God, to ask him to lay his hands on them and to pray for them. Now, the disciples saw this, and they tried to stop the parents and tell them off. They didn't think Jesus would want to waste his time with children. They probably didn't realise how important children were to Jesus. But Jesus said, "Let the little children come unto me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Jesus then placed his hands on the children and then went onward. Jesus had made sure that everyone understood how important children were to him and to his kingdom. Now, you're probably thinking that you're not as important, that you're just a kid in Scotland or wherever else in the world you are. But that's where you're wrong. And God can do anything with you and your life. If you put your trust in God, you're saying to him that you believe in him and want to use your life in whatever way he thinks is best for you. And that could get you doing all sorts of things. Joseph was just a kid who was loved by his dad, but disliked by his brothers. Yet, he went through an amazing adventure and went on to become one of the most important and powerful people in Egypt. And he saved his people from starving. Every amazing person in the Bible started off as a kid. Moses was an Israelite kid. He was just the kid of a woman who was a servant to Egyptian masters. And these masters were determined to kill all the Israelite children. So afraid was Moses' mother that her child was going to be killed that she hid him in the river Nile, in a basket amongst river plants. And God's plan for that kid, who wasn't wanted by the rulers of Egypt, was that those very same people would bring him up. He was brought up with Pharaoh's son and would eventually be used by God in amazing ways. He would warn of plagues. He would take God's people to freedom, parting the Red Sea in the process. He would even be allowed to see a little bit of our amazing God and to receive the 10 Commandments, the most important laws that God wanted all people to follow. All this from a little servant's kid. And David was a kid who looked after animals in the hills. Not a grand, important child, but a humble shepherd boy. And God used him to defeat a giant with only a little stone and a sling. God made the little kid David into one of the most important figures in the Bible, the King David. And God has used countless other kids to do his work. The disciples were all just kids who later Jesus called to help him spread the gospel. And since then, God has called many, many kids to grow into missionaries or preachers or teachers and so many other things. People that he can use to help or teach others about him. So the truth is, we are all equally important to God, no matter who you are, how young, how small, how rich or how poor, no matter where you come from or who your parents are. No matter how bad you've been or how sad your life is, you are loved by God and he wants you to come to him. He wants you to trust in him and his plan for you. Some plans will be grand and involve much hardship, like Jesus' disciples who were spreading his word all over the world in difficult times. For some, God's plan will be simple, helping others, looking after the poor or sick, or teaching or supporting others through difficult times. We are all just as important in God's plan. Hi everybody, welcome to Craft Time. Today our craft is all about what we learned today, where Jesus said, "Let the children come to me." You can find this in your Bibles at Matthew 19 verse 14. You need a selection of different coloured cards. If you take your bowl and go round the edge of the bowl on your blue card, this will be the basis for your earth or globe. You need to cut that out, and once you've cut that out, you also need to make some shapes which represent countries. So I'm just going to do a shape here, and this represents a country, and you need to cut out all your different country shapes also. Now here's one I've made earlier, and as you can see, I've glued my country shapes onto the blue surround, which is the globe. That's part one, so we'll pop this over here just now. Next, you need to get your hand and draw around your hand and all the different colours that you have chosen. So there we go. Now my hand's quite big, but yours are much smaller, so yours will fit much tidier around the globe. So there we are. You need to also cut that out and do the same with all the different colour pieces of card that you have. And as usual, I have my here's one I made earlier, or 5, which I've made earlier, and here they all are. Now you need to grab your globe, starting at the top, take one of your hands and sellotape or glue them onto the edge of the globe, like that, and make your way all the way around with all the different hand shapes. Now you need to leave a gap at the bottom because we're going to put our memory verse at the bottom. There you go. I like this craft because it looks like everybody's holding hands. There you go. Now, as usual, you'll have much more time than me, so yours will be a lot tidier. Now, as you can see, that's roughly how it looks. Just move this one over slightly. Looks like it's a bit closer. There we go. Now, you need a rectangle piece of card or paper, and on this you need to write the memory verse. And it is, Jesus said, let the children come to me. Matthew 19, verse 14. So here's my one. And with this, you need to attach it to the bottom of your globe. Again, with your sellotape or glue, whatever you've decided to use. And now, as we turn it over, we can see all the children holding hands and the reminder of today's memory verse. I hope you enjoy this craft. Goodbye!
Dear Lord, thank you that you love all the children and want us to come to you and trust in you. We thank you that we can come to you at any time, and you are always there to speak to us and help us. In Jesus' name, Amen.